Here the question is question number 65. A circuit constructed using an op-amp, resistor R1 equal to 1 kilo ohm and capacitor C1 equal to 1 microfarad and capacitor C2 is 0.1 microfarad as shown in the figure below. This is a given diagram. Now we are going to analyze what the circuit will act as, whether it will act as high pass filter or low pass filter or band pass filter or band reject filter. This is a thing we are going to discuss now.
Here in this figure it is shown that the input voltage is connected to the negative terminal of the op-amp, so it is an inverting amplifier. Along the feedback path there is a resistor and then capacitor in parallel. The input voltage is connected through the capacitor C1. So here it is shown the resistor R1, that is a feedback resistor parallel to the capacitor, that value equal to 1 kilo ohm. Then the capacitor C1, that is connected to the input voltage in series. That capacitance value it is given, it is 1 microfarad. The capacitor along the feedback, this is a C2, that capacitor value it is given, that would be equal to 0.1 microfarad. Then what is the circuit will be act as a, whether it be acting as a high pass filter or low pass filter or band pass filter or band reject filter. To find this we need to find the response of the circuit in terms of the frequency. So for that one, what we are going to do, uh, uh, here we are going to calculate the current voltage gain of the given operational amplifier. So the voltage gain in general it can be written as, for the inverting amplifier, the voltage gain V naught divided by Vi, that is a ratio between the output voltage divided by input voltage, that is a voltage gain. You can call it is an voltage gain of the amplifier, that would be equal to, in general, negative of the feedback resistor. Because here we are not using the resistance, there are resistance R1 here, here capacitor it is having the impedance. So these are the things parallel, so the net resistance we can call that ZF, impedance of the parallel components, thereby the input resistance. Here also the impedance of the capacitor is Z1 you can call. This is in general the voltage gain of the inverting amplifier. So that would be equal to, we are going to first we need to find what is the ZF. So to find the ZF, here this component are parallel, the parallel component we need to evaluate. So for that, 1 divided by ZF is equal to, if any resistance are in parallel, you got to add the reciprocal of the resistance 1 by R1 divided by 1 by the resistance of the C2, it would be 1 divided by J omega C2. So this will be the resultant resistance, or in general you can call this 1 by J omega C2 is the impedance of the capacitor C2, that we can call it's a XC2. So 1 by ZF, that would be equal to 1 by R1 plus 1 by this 1 by J omega C2 you can call XC2. So if you are cross multiply these two, it will give XC2 times R1 divided by R1 plus XC2, or actually XC2 plus R1, here in the denominator it's a dot product, or else if you are inverting this one ZF, you have to invert this one also. So R1 dot XC2 divided by R1 plus XC2. This is the impedance in the feedback circuit, the net impedance. So input impedance we know that Z1, that we can call, that would be equal to 1 divided by J omega C2, or you can call in general X, here it's Z1, here capacitor is C1, so J omega C1, or you can, in general you can call XC1. So now you can substitute here. So ZF is equal to minus ZF. Here it's a feedback impedance, that would be equal to R1 time XC2 divided by R1 plus XC2 divided by the input impedance for the capacitor C1, that would be equal to XC1. So this would be equal to, in general, so here you can divide the numerator denominator by R1, so it will, or XC2, that would be fine. So divide numerator and denominator by XC2, that will give R1. If you are dividing by XC2, it's a whole divided by XC2, it will give numerator XC2 will get cancel R1. Here if you are divided, it will give R1 divided by XC2 plus XC2 will get cancel 1. Here it is divided by XC1, so you can write it as minus R1 divided by, or XC2, we know what is XC2, that would be equal to 1 by j omega C2. So here it will give R1, this 1 divided by j omega C2, it's a denominator over fraction, so you can invert it, so it will give omega C2 plus 1 times this 1 by XC1. So one more step we can extend, 1 by minus R1 divided by j R1 omega C2 plus 1. This XC1, 1 by XC1, here if you look at this expression, 1 by XC1 you can call j omega C2, so it will go to the numerator. So j omega is a XC1, so it's a C1. Now what we need to find, we need to, here in the denominator we have that the complex number. So what we can do, you can just separate it as a real and imaginary part. For that we are going to multiply the conjugate of the denominator. If you multiply the conjugate of the denominator, what it will do, R1 j omega C1 times the denominator 1 plus j R1 omega C2. If you are multiplying with the numerator denominator, see j R1 1 minus, so 1 minus j R omega C2 divided by 1 minus j R omega C2. So this will give a square, a plus b into a minus b, a square b square. So 1 square minus j R1 omega C2 whole square. The numerator it will give, here it is minus into minus plus, j square it will give minus, so here also it will be minus, so minus R1 j omega C1 minus, if you are just doing this one, it will give R1, here it is R1, so it will give R1 into R1 square omega square C1 C2. So here in the denominator it will give plus, so 1 plus R1 omega C2 whole square. In the numerator it will be simply the real part is minus R1 square omega square C1 C2 minus j omega C1 R1. So here you can take commonly the C1 R1 outside. So C1 R1 if you are taking out, the inside, anyway this one also you can take it out. This is one denominator 1 plus R1 omega C2 whole square. The inside it would have minus R1 C2 omega square. Yes, it should be omega square. Even here actually omega also you can take it out. if I take it out omega, there is 1 omega, so R1 omega C2 minus omega C2 R1 we have taken away, so it will be J. This is a complex number, so we need to find the magnitude here. Actually it's not omega square, so it will be R1 C2 omega. Now we need to find the magnitude of the V naught by Vi, so that's the thing we are going to do it now. Here we have this expression, the voltage gain V naught by Vi, that will be equal to this one. Finally we derived. Now we need to find the magnitude of this one, so for that we are taking the modulus of this one, V naught by Vi. Suppose if we are taking the modulus, we go to square the real part plus imaginary part, take the square root. That is things for, suppose if you are having like any complex number x plus iy, if you are taking mod of this one, that means square root of the real square plus imaginary square. That's the thing we are going to do here. Here the coefficient also will get square, so you can take it out of square root. It would be remain same, omega c1 r1 divided by 1 plus r1 c2 omega whole square. This is out of the square root. Inside the square root we have, it would be a square plus b square r1 c2 omega whole square plus the imaginary square. That would be the result. So if you are pushing this inside the root, it will be squared. So here we go, omega c1 r1, just to push it this one to the square root, so it will give r1 c2 omega whole square plus 1. This whole term will get square if you are pushing it inside the square root. That means 1 plus r1 c2 omega whole square. So you can, here it's a power 1, here it's a r1 c2 it's whole square. This whole term will get square, so this will be whole square. You can cancel the 1 for 1, so it will give finally the outside is omega c1 r1 divided by the square root of 1 plus r1 c2 omega whole square. So this, now what we want to do, we are going to analyze what would happen with respect to frequency, what it will do. For that we are going to push the omega downward. If you are pushing it omega to the denominator, it will give c1 r1 divided by square root of, if you are pushing it down, it will give 1 divided by omega square plus this omega square. If you push it down, it will be a fraction. So if you are pushing it inside the square root, the omega will get like omega square. So here it is a common omega square, 1 by omega square, here 1 by omega square will get cancelled. So r1 square c2 square. Now we can discuss it, what would happen at a higher frequency as well as a lower frequency. Suppose if the frequency approaching the frequency of the circuit, or the frequency approaching the 0, or if you are giving some input voltage, that frequency value approaching 0, what would happen here? Because here the input is a sinusoidal voltage, then only we can give, because the, if you look at the circuit, the input voltage is connected to the capacitor. It should be a sinusoidal voltage. If you are applying the DC current, it will block. So if the frequency of the applied voltage, it goes approaching 0, if this is approaching 0, then 1 by 0 it goes to infinity. So the whole denominator approaching infinity, because compare this 1 by 0, it is infinity, this term will be negligible, the whole term will be infinity. Anything divided by infinity, it goes to 0. That means V naught by Vi goes to 0, that magnitude, or V naught, the Vi goes to 0. That means the output voltage goes to 0. Any input voltage that correspond to the frequency 0, that means the lesser frequency, there is no output voltage. That means that given circuit, it will block for the lower frequency wave. So that means there is it won't act as a low pass filter. So now what would happen at a higher frequency if omega approaching infinity? So if omega approaches infinity, if this is infinity, 1 by infinity, this term goes to 0. Hence, the V naught by Vi, it will be equal to C1 R1 divided by the square root of this anyway goes to 0 as infinity higher frequency. It will give R1 C2 whole square. So if you are taking the square root, it will give C1 R1 square root, it's R1 C2, R1 R1 will get cancelled. So V naught by Vi, it will be non-zero. It will be C1 by C2. That means there is a finite V naught. It will give Vi, here actually it is Vi, C1 by C2. So the output to voltage will be there. Here it in this case, when the input frequency is approaching infinity, higher frequency wave if you are giving to the input, there will be output voltage. That means it is allowing the high frequency, it is blocking the lower frequency, the given circuit. So it will act as a high pass filter. So that would be the best option. Higher frequency wave, it is allowed. So the given circuit is a high frequency input voltage it is allowing. So it will act as a, the given circuit will act as a high pass filter. It will block the lower frequency, it won't allow any lower frequency wave.
So from the above discussion, the given circuit will act as a high pass filter. This would be the right answer.